I have an emergency call ready. This unauthorized occupant needs to leave immediately. She is a guest in my home, and frankly, this is harassment.
Look at this wire transfer. These invoices are completely fabricated. They've stolen thousands from the association.
The knock came at 6:02 in the morning, sharp, frantic. The kind that rattles your chest before your brain catches up. I pulled on a robe and opened the door to cold air and a woman I recognized from the neighborhood. She was gripping her phone so tightly her knuckles had gone white. The screen showed an emergency call already dialed. "There is an unauthorized occupant in this house," she said. "If she doesn't leave immediately, I'm calling the police." I looked back over my shoulder. My wife was standing in the hallway in her pajamas, hair pulled back, dark circles under her eyes from another overnight hospital shift. She had come home 2 hours ago after spending the night keeping other people's children alive. "That's my wife," I said. "She lives here." The woman's mouth twisted, not according to the rules. I don't remember approving her. My wife held up her left hand. "We're married. I moved in last week." The woman didn't look at the ring. She looked at my wife's car in the driveway and announced she had received complaints about suspicious activity and that unauthorized vehicles were not permitted overnight. I almost laughed. Then I looked at my wife's face and stopped. 20 minutes later, a patrol car sat at the curb. The officer looked at our marriage certificate, our deed, our IDs. He looked at the woman. "Everything here is legal," he said flatly. "This is not a police matter. If you keep filing false reports, you could be cited." She clicked back to her house without a word. That evening, my wife sat at the kitchen table staring into a mug of tea she wasn't drinking. "Maybe we should just keep our heads down," she said softly. "I don't want trouble." I looked at her, the woman who held the hands of terrified parents in the dark, who carried life and death with more grace than anyone I had ever known. "No," I said, "we're not doing that." The note started 2 days later, typed, unsigned, left under our windshield wiper, messages about community standards and family values. Then came a call to my wife's workplace, someone questioning her professionalism, suggesting she was unstable. The hospital brushed it off, but the damage followed her home. She started jumping when the doorbell rang. When I found the scratch down the side of her car, long and deliberate, something in me went very quiet and very clear. I sat at the kitchen table after midnight and opened the HOA bylaws, page after page of fine print. The tools she had been using against us. And as I read, I realized her only real advantage was that nobody else had bothered to read them. I started walking the neighborhood with a camera. Her fence was over the property line. Her pool house sat 6 inches past the setback. Her garden encroached 3 feet onto a neighbor's land. The same rules she quoted at everyone else applied to her, too. She just assumed nobody would ever check. When I filed a formal complaint with the board, she showed up at our door in the afternoon, calm this time, smiling. "You're making a mistake," she said quietly. "Drop this, for your own good." That night, a board member knocked quietly and slid a folder across our kitchen table. His hands were shaking. "I copied this before she locked everyone out," he said. Inside were bank statements, vendor invoices for companies that didn't exist, amounts just under the threshold requiring approval, years of it. She had been stealing from every family in the neighborhood and assuming no one would ever look. My wife flipped through the pages with the same focus she brought to a difficult diagnosis. "This isn't sloppy," she said. "It's deliberate." The filings went out on a Friday. By Monday, the HOA president had sent a rambling email accusing everyone of betrayal. By the following Tuesday, she had been removed by an overwhelming vote. She came to our door one last time, wild-eyed, threatening, demanding my wife leave. When the officer arrived, the neighbors were watching from their porches, not hiding, not whispering behind curtains, standing in the open. For the first time, she looked small. She walked away and didn't come back. That evening, my wife leaned against me on the back steps watching the sky go dark. "I'm glad we didn't walk away," she said. I held her hand, thinking about how courage rarely looks like shouting. Most of the time, it just looks like staying. Home isn't where you live. It's where you're allowed to exist without asking permission.